Coming up on today's show, we are talking all about the latest stadium updates on your Kansas City Chiefs. And I know that this issue hits home to a lot of people, and you may be leaning one way or another with some strong opinions here. So tell me this to start today's show. Where should the Kansas City Chiefs play into the future? In Missouri or in Kansas? Type M for Missouri, type K for Kansas. Chime in the comments section. Let us know. We'll get started with today's show. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for stopping by this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. And we have some big updates to get to on the stadium proposal from the state of Missouri and a vote that could possibly go down today. We'll also tell you what's going on the other side of the state line in Kansas with their proposal as well. We'll give you all the details and analysis you need to know coming up in just a moment. This has been a bizarre situation, I think, that has played out now over a number of years with both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Kansas City Royals. And let me be clear, the number one objective and goal in all of this is for neither team to leave the Kansas City Metro. And with that said, I think that while there might be some frustrations depending on how you lean towards, whether it's if you want to see either team in Kansas or either team in Missouri, at the end of the day, I think we all should be satisfied as long as they're here for a very long time. And I think based on where we're at, we're still in a good spot with that we don't have anything to worry about, at least for now anyway. With that said, let's tell you what you need to know and what's going on in the Show Me State. The Missouri Stadium package is for both the Chiefs and the Royals for what is being voted on. This week, the Missouri State Senate Committee passed a 6-3 vote to advance a bill to the entire state Senate, which is known as Senate Bill 2 in this special session. It would allow the state of Missouri to cover 50% of stadium costs for both the Chiefs and the Royals for their new projects. In order for that to pass, there are 34 senators in the Missouri State Senate. They need 18 of them to vote yes to move the proposal forward. And a vote could happen as early as today, which would be the first step forward in getting something potentially done in Missouri. And also, if you recall, the last proposal that was put up there, the Chiefs were looking at a lower price tag than what it is now. According to some new reporting, that price tag for a renovation to GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium, if the Chiefs were to stay, has gone up, comparably speaking, to what it was in 2024. More from Sam McDowell of the Kansas City Star, who put this out. Chiefs lobbyist Rich Abunchen told Missouri senators that if the team stays in Missouri, the Arrowhead Stadium renovation plan would be about $1.15 billion. That's an expected new price tag from the 24 vote project of $800 million. So you can see it has gone up quite a bit from what it was just even a year ago. The agreement, if the Chiefs were to stay in Missouri, would be a lease that would keep them at the Truman Sports Complex for another 30 years. And their current lease expires in 2031. So to kind of put a timing on that, you would play out the rest of this lease and then another 30 years after that. Now, the Missouri governor has spoken out recently, and he has made it no secret that he is very nervous about the potential possibility of losing the Kansas City Chiefs to the state of Kansas. And the state of Missouri is trying to put something together here last minute to do all they can to keep them on their side of the state line. He said this: they have some significant options on the table. I believe if Missouri does not put some sort of offer forward, I'm not speaking for any of those teams. I think the risk is real that they don't stay here. I believe the package that we can present to them with the help of the local communities will be serious enough for them to give it great consideration. Now, you may be wondering, how does Tyler Jones feel about this? Well, I'll be honest. From my perspective, I'm kind of split, to be frank with you. I have deeper ties to the Kansas side of the Kansas City Metro. I went to the school at the University of Kansas. I lived in Lawrence for a long time. That's where my roots are. But as a fan perspective, Arrowhead will always hold a special place in my heart. I've enjoyed so many great memories over the years, and that place, I think, is my favorite stadium in all of the NFL and has just an incredible atmosphere. I don't feel strong either way about where the Chiefs should play in the future. I'll be happy with whatever the Chiefs decide, whether it's in Kansas or Missouri, either one. But based on my analysis of this situation, if you were to ask me where this is likely headed, I would say that the momentum is pointing towards the Kansas side. And I'll lay out the reasons why here in just a moment. We're going to let you hear from Clark Hunt and among others here. But let me ask you, what's your favorite memory at Arrowhead Stadium? Of all the years that you've spent there going to games, what comes to mind, whether it was a special time with the family or a specific game that you saw? Let me know in the comments section those good memories and chime in and let us know. We're covering everything here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report, from stadium projects to news and rumors, trades, free agency, OTAs, minicamp, and more. It's all in one place. The most interactive Chiefs channel on YouTube is the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. I want to get at least 20 subs off today's video. I know we're going to have some new people watching that have never watched this show before. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Chiefs TV. Stay up to date with everything happening on your favorite team. We got you covered. Now, one Chiefs prominent individual that does not want to see the Chiefs go anywhere is none other than tight end Travis Kelce, who came out this week and said that he wants the Chiefs to stay at Arrowhead. Now, we'll show you what Kelce said here in just a moment, but I think it's also worth noting here that Travis Kelce likely is only going to play 1 or 2 more seasons, and this decision is well beyond his pay grade. So it doesn't really matter too much what Travis Kelce thinks, but nonetheless, it is newsworthy that he had something to say about it. Kelce saying this: Arrowhead is home for me. It's a part of my heart playing in that stadium, but the fans want what the fans want. We play for them. I think it's up to them. Now, the most recent reporting and some statements that we've heard from notable Chiefs front office personnel like owner Clark Hunt and team president Mark Donovan would indicate that the Kansas City Chiefs would lean towards playing in a dome. And of the two proposals that are out there, if they stay in Missouri, it's staying at Arrowhead as an outdoor stadium and renovating that project. The only plan for a dome is if they go across the state line and go to Kansas. And that appears to be the direction the Chiefs lean towards, at least right now anyway. Clark Hunt said this back at the NFL owners' meetings: I do think for the community, a dome would be a tremendous asset. It would give the Kansas City region an opportunity to host significant events. And here is some visuals. These were released not too long ago of what a potential domed stadium would look like for the Kansas City Chiefs. It would be in the Legends area over by Kansas Speedway and Sporting Park, Children's Mercy Park to be exact. And that area alone, folks, I've spent a ton of time there over the years. I'm a big NASCAR guy, and that's an incredible story, I think, for the state of Kansas of what they've done. When Kansas Speedway was built, there was literally nothing out there. And since then, the Legends has totally rejuvenated KCK and brought that city to new life we've never seen before, out of the Stonehenge days of sorts. And then Sporting Park came along and the Legends and all that. And there's still plenty of land out there for the Chiefs and Royals to be in that area if they so choose. Now, when we talk the dollars and cents, according to The Athletic, Nate Taylor did a great report on this earlier this week. A dome would cost about $3 billion compared to the number we showed you earlier of renovating Arrowhead Stadium would cost about $1.15 billion. So it is significantly more if they were going to do that. But it comes with a lot of rewards that you would not be able to get if you were to renovate Arrowhead Stadium and stay outdoors. Nate Taylor writing this. A dome stadium similar to venues such as SoFi Stadium, the home of the Chargers and Rams, Allegiant Stadium, home of the Raiders, and US Bank Stadium, the Minnesota Vikings, would allow the Chiefs to host numerous events. The Final Four, a college football playoff game, the Big 12 football championship game, more concerts, college bowl games, and WWE events. And Clark Hunt has stated openly that he wants to host a Super Bowl, that they would love to have that, and that's not happening in a renovated Arrowhead Stadium. If you want the Super Bowl, you're going to have a dome, plain and simple. It's a little too cold in Kansas City. Now, there's give and take here, right? Like, sure, you get the Super Bowl. I know Mark Donovan was talking real big that they want the Big 12 championship, which Kansas City has done an amazing job over at the T-Mobile Center of hosting the Big 12 basketball tournament over the years. You would get those type of events that you want to get otherwise. But then that would also take away from the allure that is Arrowhead Stadium of the atmosphere we've seen over the years, the loudest stadium in the NFL, the snow games we've seen and all that. Those all of a sudden would be gone. So there's some give and take here. Now, here's another thing that intrigues me here about the dome possibility. All the events and all that are cool. All right? I would love to have college football playoff games and all of that. All that sounds fun. The concerts and everything. But you think about this. We're looking at a timeline of 2031. Patrick Mahomes is still going to be around, and he's going to be on the back end of his career at that point. And if you want Patrick Mahomes to be able to play a long time at a high level, you're going to make life a lot easier on Patrick Mahomes if his final days are in a dome as compared to an outdoor stadium. So I think that's something to consider here as you're trying to contend for championships. And I know that we're talking about stadiums for, 30, 40 years from now, of a long-term plan. But even in the short term, I think that would actually benefit this Chiefs team more to go to the Dome than it would be if they were to stay at Arrowhead in that sense. Let's ask you, what do you think about the Dome possibility? Are you for it or are you against it? I can see either way, believe me. Should the Chiefs play in a Dome? Type Y for yes, in for no. Wait in the comments section and tell me what you think. Speaking of 15, Patrick Mahomes, we have framed, sign-printed Patrick Mahomes jerseys on sale now with free shipping for a limited time. And these are not too pricey either, folks. It'll look great in the man cave or wherever you want to put this thing. You got to get this framed Mahomes jersey. Chatsports.com/Mahomes15 to get yours today. We also have other Chiefs merchandise available at that same link. Free shipping, chatsports.com/Mahomes15 to get yours now. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Mahomes15. Now, the Kansas proposal. Let's tell you about that for a moment. There is a deadline. The state of Kansas, Governor Laura Kelly and company, they're trying to move pretty quickly as they have set a deadline of June 30th that they need a decision from the Chiefs and the Royals one way or another. Now, could the deadline potentially be moved around? That's possible, but at least that appears to be the deadline that they want to move on this fast. Kansas House Speaker Dan Hawkins had this to say to the Kansas City Star. I think if they want to get it done, they've still got time to get it done. If one of them wants to or both wants to come to Kansas, we'd love to have them. We have the tools. Now, there is a world where the Chiefs and Royals don't have to be on the same side of the state line together. We could see a possibility where the Royals stay in Missouri and the Chiefs are in Kansas, or vice versa. The Royals in Kansas and the Chiefs in Missouri. even though they've spent all these years together as neighbors in the Truman Sports Complex. Now, let's talk about the funding for a second. Much has been made about this. We've told you what the numbers look like from Kansas and Missouri. If the Kansas proposal costs over $3 billion for a dome stadium, the Missouri proposal costs over $1.1 billion for the renovation to Arrowhead. But the funding, Clark Hunt looking for that public money to save his bottom line a bit. And I know some people don't like that, but I don't blame Clark, even though he's a billionaire, for wanting to, get some free cash to help out in this project. The Kansas side is offering 70% to pay for a stadium. The Missouri side is offering 50% to pay for a new stadium. But while that may sound like, wow, Kansas is offering 20% more, well, that's not the full story when you read into this further, especially when you consider that the Kansas project is significantly much more money in cost than the Missouri project is. My friend Pete Mundo, who does an incredible job with KC Mo Talk Radio, doing his show Mundo in the morning. I encourage you to check out that show if you haven't already. He had a great perspective on this, breaking down what's actually going on with the Kansas proposal. In Kansas, the teams will have to prove they can generate up to 70% of the project's funding with a reasonable star bond district, and then get it approved by the Legislative Coordinating Council, which includes many state representatives and senators. They will then approve or deny it. Key state lawmakers have insisted on 95.7 FM KC Mo Talk Radio that Kansas will not be a backstop for these bonds. So the numbers have to work for, one, the state to say yes, and two, the bonds to not end up as junk bonds. And if we're talking about a stadium at the Legends, how reasonable is the geography of a star bond district to generate the additional sales tax revenues to pay off billions of dollars in bonding for the project? So with that said, this is a messy situation. It's not as good as what it's being made out to be of the 70% proposal. There's still a lot more to that with these star bonds that come from the state of Kansas. I do think we're going to have an answer soon, one way or another, whether the Chiefs are staying in Missouri or if they're going across the state line to Kansas. I think we'll know a solution on that for both the Chiefs and the Royals. I think that the momentum is pointing towards the Kansas side, but all of this could change pretty fast, and we'll see where things go from there. If one of them moves to the state line, which team would you rather it be? The Chiefs or the Royals? If you had to pick one to move, to pack their bags and go across the river, who are you choosing? Type C for Chiefs, type R for Royals. Let us know. For continuing Chiefs coverage, follow me on X at Tyler Jones Live. I'll keep you posted with everything going on your Kansas City Chiefs over there. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.